Welcome to Around Town, featuring what's going on in the greater Concord area. I'm your host, Dick Patten. It's a pleasure to welcome you back as we're now into the, well, supposedly middle of the winter season, but today it seems like summer out there for some reason. But anyhow, I suppose we'll take it because it saves on fuel. But with me is Dean Wilber, from a longtime East Concord resident, and he's busy getting his tubing out there for the maple syrup season. And Dean, I don't know where in the world the weatherman is, but I was just telling Ian that when I was in school back in the late 60s, we never had this kind of weather in February. We always had snowstorms after snowstorms in that time period.
No, you're right. I checked the temperature in the car just as I pulled into the parking lot. It was 72 degrees.
Yeah.
And, this is absolutely crazy. And it tells me that, for whatever reason, the maple season certainly is getting earlier and earlier.
Oh, I know.
And perhaps shorter. So.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, I wondered about that because what is it, when it gets toward April or in April or somewhere in there, where is it when the buds come out on the trees or something like that? That means it stops. It stops from the tapping the trees and all that.
Well, when the buds come out, the sap eventually gets off flavor.
Oh, okay.
It's called buddy.
Yeah.
And a pretty simple term, but and the sugar content is not there, because the trees have, pretty much given up the sugar content during the season. So you have to boil it longer, you make darker syrup, and eventually you make really off-flavor syrup. So my goal is to always quit before I start making syrup that I wouldn't serve to anybody else.
Yeah. I just, like I said, I always used to think that it was always the end of February. You'd always have, maybe because there was a picture on one of those maple syrup cans or something, that you'd see the horse and the oxen or whatever, and there was always snow on the trees, and they'd see the buckets going out, and that was the picture or something. But now this kind of weather, I've seen this in March, the end of March, but not in February. I mean, you had the January thaw.
We did.
That was nuts, it was. But, I mean, for people who are ice fishing, I would not want to have my bob house out there, I can tell you.
There's people ice fishing on Turtletown Pond right now.
Today?
Oh yeah, today.
Are they stupid? Excuse me, are they not reading the weather forecast?
Well, with all the water that's out there, there has to be some soft spots, and I certainly wouldn't be out on it, but they are.
Are there bob houses out there?
There's one.
One.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how deep Turtletown is, because when we used to go fishing out there in the summertime, I didn't think it was Dad would have his rowboat. We'd go out toward the middle, but we really weren't out in the middle of fishing. But it was still probably, well, he used to put his oar down, I remember that. And it was maybe up to the handles or something or whatever, but I don't think it was.
Now, turtle is approximately 12 to 15 feet deep.
That's what I was going to say, about 12 feet or something, I thought.
It's very mucky.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, the maple season is started for some. We're in the process of getting ready. I have, in this past few months, been reorganizing the sugar house. I actually have put a big addition on it.
Yeah, you told me you had.
And that will be, I think, state of the art for the area. Very soon, I have a new evaporator. And in fact, just before I came here, I went over to FW Webb and picked up this stainless steel fitting, and it's kind of ironical because the cost of this is significantly greater than what we sell a pint of syrup for.
Really?
And
now, what is this used? What's this go on?
this is actually going to come down from the ceiling, and it's going to feed the sap into the evaporator.
Oh, okay.
And I'm using all stainless. and as many of the connections as I can.
Hmm.
And one of the things that so many people say to me during the season and even during the off season is, why is it that syrup is so expensive?
Hmm.
And people just don't realize that the cost of this equipment today and to getting it ready to operate or set up is just, it's incredible.
Hmm.
And the miles and miles of tubing that we have out in the woods and walking those lines to make sure there's no storm damage, animal damage. It's just, it's a labor of love. I do it because I've been doing it now for 70 years. And
Jesus gosh.
still do it. My knees and my hips aren't like they used to be, but I still enjoy doing it.
Well, I don't dare ask how old you are now, but 70 years, my God, that's quite a thing.
Well, I was born in 40, so it's easy to do the numbers.
Oh, younger than I thought you were.
Yeah.
Ah.
So anyway, and the other interesting thing in having some workmen at the sugar house helping me, because I can't do all of this myself now, is so many people don't realize how many gallons of sap straight from the tree that it takes to make a gallon of syrup. And most of them they think it's less than 10 gallons to one, when it really is 4 to 5 times that.
Hmm. Wow.
So it takes, a lot of sap to gather, a lot of sap to boil down to get it to the proper density so that we have maple syrup that, is nice on our palate.
Hmm. That's something. Yes, and because I know, was it 2-3 years ago, they changed on you the brands or the grades of syrup from what they used to be.
They did. We used to call it light, medium,
Yeah.
and dark.
Yeah.
Amber. Now it's called golden delicate for the lightest, and it's called amber rich for what we used to call medium amber, and dark robust for the dark. And what used to be B grade, mostly used for cooking, is now called extra dark strong.
Oh my.
Whatever. The extra dark strong is something that is really, really strong, and unfortunately it's making its way onto the store shelves and in the gift stores, and it's not creating a good image for New Hampshire maple syrup. I wished it didn't happen, but it has.
So the grade that I would want if I wanted to have it on pancakes or French toast or whatever would be the
Amber rich.
Amber rich.
That's what this is.
Oh, okay. Amber rich. Dark robust or something you said?
Yep. Dark robust and then extra dark strong. And the very lightest is golden delicate.
And is that good for eating too? Or no?
It is. It doesn't have a distinct maple flavor. It's okay. It's sweet.
Yeah.
The sweetness, the sugar content is the same in all of them, which is 66.9 on the Brick scale. And the new standard, with the exception of New Hampshire and Vermont, allow it to be 66. Well, when you have 9/10 of a Brick's difference, you can certainly taste it. And when you pour our syrup, New Hampshire syrup, onto your pancakes, it doesn't run off as quickly as syrup from, say, Canada or Massachusetts or Maine, because they're only using 66.
Hmm.
The bottom line is you can make more at 66 than you can 66.9 because you don't have to boil it as long.
Huh. Interesting.
So, it's the new international standard, and, the 66 is what has been the Canadian standard forever.
Hmm.
And that's why if you, have tasted Canadian syrup in the past, you say, this is thin. And when I visited Canada and I had some Canadian syrup on my French crepes, I complained to the waitress because it was thin.
And what'd you say?
She brought the chef out, and he talked better English than I did French, but he finally explained to me that, it's the way it is in Canada.
Which part of Canada did you go to?
We were up to Quebec.
And that's definitely French up there.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've gone to Montreal. We've done English in there, but some French too. But mostly we've gotten away. But yes, we went to Quebec City.
Yeah.
Oh, brother, I couldn't understand a word. It's like, okay, but
So,
now do you
know.
get graded? I mean, does the agricultural commissioner go around to the maple houses and grade your syrup? Or do they give you like a blue ribbon or red ribbon or whatever, or is that just for the fairs?
no, I'm really glad you asked that, Dick, because there's a voluntary program here in New Hampshire called the Seal of Quality. And be a member of the Seal of Quality means that you have to have certain standards in your sugar house. Albeit the standards are pretty minimum. And it does cost you $35 now to participate in that Seal of Quality. Realistically, $35 is not even the cost of sending an inspector from the State House to my sugar house, which is only 5 miles away.
Yeah.
But they come out and they look for things like, do I have water, running water, hot and cold? Do I have cement floors? Am I date coding my syrup to make sure that I can trace it in case that there is some problems or off flavor? And it's not very rigid. However, last year we were the only sugar house in the participants of the Seal of Quality program in New Hampshire that got a perfect score.
Good for you.
And I will say that's the first time we have ever gotten a perfect score. But, we got it, and I'm proud of it.
So they give you a ribbon and all that, and any kind of prize, or no?
No, just on the certificate.
They don't publish it in the paper anywhere?
No, because that would be political.
Dodos. Oh, that's too bad.
But,
That's quite an honor.
Yeah, it is. It's something that Meg and I were very proud of when that happened.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause you've got a new agricultural commissioner now, so.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, so I know. I found out the other day that our agricultural director in New Hampshire State Grange, he's a young man, but he evidently does not approve of the new one. And I guess he wrote an editorial coming out in our Grange paper that I don't know if it's going to come out, if it's going to get printed or not, but I'll be anxious to read it because, they just didn't feel that this one has the knowledge or the, what's this way, knowledge and something else to be in that position. I guess the only thing I can think of is that he announced once that his family, his grandparents were chicken farmers, and that was about it. And that was the extent of his agricultural involvement. But
yeah, I had heard the chicken farm story. And, I go way back with Howard Townsend when he was agriculture commissioner, and that goes back to the early 70s.
really,
And his son is also a sugar maker up there in Lebanon. But Howard was a customer of mine when I sold outdoor power equipment. And he used to come in my shop a lot. I remember him. And Steve Taylor.
yes,
I know
remember
Steve
him.
very well. Steve was a great commissioner.
Yeah,
After Steve, Lorraine Merrill was a nice person, but I don't think she did much for Maple. And, that's my interest.
well, she did too much for whatever, but
So, but we'll see what the new commissioner does. I'm sure he'll be at the tree tapping ceremony, wherever that's going to be. I haven't even heard.
I'm sure
It's,
for a photo op.
but
Isn't that where the governor?
the governor taps the tree. Yeah,
I thought he already did that.
I'm not sure. I can tell you that I'm the guy that started the tree tapping ceremony at a sugar house
Mm.
when Governor Shaheen was doing it. They used to tap either a tree here in the State House lawn or a dead maple over there at the Bridges Estate in East Concord. And so I asked Jean Shaheen if she would like to tap a tree at a real sugar house, and she said, sure. How far away is it? And I said, 2 miles. And so she started that tradition. And since then, quite a few of the things that we did and with the governor have changed. I went to the one 2 years ago, and I wasn't impressed with what it was and how it was.
Yeah, how it was run.
I remember Jean Shaheen was really a good sport. It was pouring rain, and she didn't mind getting her hair wet.
Well, John Lynch was pretty good about doing stuff like that.
John was great too. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I went to one of the tree tappings at Commissioner Taylor's sugar house when John was there.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I can remember Steve Taylor for years. He would always come to the State Grange when we had our conventions and stuff. It was always the state banquet was where we did the Century Farm Awards, and he was always good to come and present one of the awards along with the University of New Hampshire, where the Grange was so involved in. But through the years, because the Grange is not so evident or prevalent, whatever when you use it like they used to be, the University of New Hampshire kind of like put us on the shelf, I guess.
Really?
And until I finally mentioned something a couple of years ago as state historian, and because there was something in the newspaper, and I took him to task over it, and I guess he didn't like it because it was about the agricultural station down at UNH.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, they were giving somebody credit for that, and I said, I said, I have the history, and I said, it was in the Hampshire State Grange that moved it down there from Dartmouth College. Mm-hmm. And I had all the records of it, but they didn't want to believe it.
Yeah.
So I sent them photocopies of it, and they still didn't want to believe it.
No kidding.
But that's what it was. But now, do you go to the fairs like Hopkinton or any of those to display your syrup? And,
no.
they don't bother with that.
We have really developed a niche. We have a good following of people that come to the sugar house.
Mm-hmm.
We do have our syrup in on Main Street in Capital Craftsman. We also have it at Apple Hill Farm during the season.
Oh yeah.
And, unfortunately, Quality Cash Market in East Concord is now closed, but they sold a lot of our product.
Anybody gonna reopen that up?
Not sure. It's sorely missed by the neighborhood, I can tell you.
Well, I felt bad for them. I don't care, and I felt bad for him and for the gas station because I do my gas over to Fadi's over there off exit 15 there and 16, and when they put that roundabout in, that was, well, I won't use the word, but I thought it was stupid, but it just makes. And I felt bad because he really suffered, and so didn't Quality Cash Market, you know?
Yeah, I trade with Fadi also, and I had to laugh because as I was coming over here today, I obviously would drive down Sharman Street, and as I approached this brand new roundabout,
Yep.
there's a huge puddle of water right there because it was improper drainage.
Yep.
You know, where's the supervision?
Oh, I know. Yeah.
It's our tax dollars at waste.
I don't know why they put that in. I really don't. But it seems to be nowadays, it's the thing to put the roundabouts in. I can remember the big traffic circle down by the Bridge Street there where the Highway Hotel and all that jazz. That was the big traffic circle. And of course, there were traffic circles most other places, but then all of a sudden they became outdated, and they got rid of them. Now all of a sudden we're back to having them again. You know, I don't know how the fire trucks get around them. I really don't. But so once you're done tapping, then that's it till the next winter for you, then, right?
Yeah, the season is, you know, weather related, and we need that freeze thaw cycle.
Yeah.
And if we don't have it, then the season is over.
Hmm.
You know, the buds are coming out, and it's not freezing at night, so the sap is not traveling up and down the tree.
Wow.
You know, and it could be as short as 2 weeks, and sometimes 6 weeks long.
Really?
But this warm weather in between is bound to shorten the season. So I think that, you know, we're going to get some cold weather next week, and that's when I think the real season is going to start.
Oh yeah, it's definitely going to come back again. I mean, it just isn't. This isn't right. I mean, this kind of weather is good for the doctors, the hospitals, the pharmacies. This gets them in business because people dress down like they're going to the beach, and then all of a sudden the next day they're dressed up like Eskimos again. You know, so of course it keeps them all in business. But, you know, I mean, I was reading in the paper about Tenny Mountain, how they've opened up with snow tubing.
Yeah.
But this kind of weather's going to do that right in, too.
It is. It isn't going to take long.
No.
I mean, there's water running down the road everywhere from snow runoff.
Yeah. You know, and then these rivers, these ponds that rely on ice fishing and stuff, I mean, you're going to have more cars or trucks going in the water because they're trying to get those bulb houses off the thing. You know, and so it's crazy. The weather has changed from what it used to be. When you started tapping, I mean, it had to be, wasn't it used to be more or less the end of February you'd get your taps out there, or March, 1st of March, and then it was wheat?
You know, I never made syrup in February until the year 2000.
Really?
And since then, I've only made syrup in February 2 other times. But prior to that, most of the time, the first boil would typically be 7th to the 11th of March.
Really? Yeah.
So, you know, there you have it. You know, I was tapping the end of February, 1st of March, and then it wouldn't run for a week or so. But now it's running as soon as I tap.
Wow, isn't that right?
You know, 2 to 3 weeks early. So we can't change it.
Now, somebody else told me, I asked a question a year or so ago from somebody. I said, you know, it's funny, we have the maple syrup there coming out of the maple trees. I said, what about the pine tree? Well, that's sap, that pitch. Oh, well, or maybe it was, the other trees.
Birch.
Birch trees, yes.
Yeah. They make syrup out of birch, and they're doing it here in New Hampshire on a very limited basis.
Really?
I know of a couple people in Vermont that are doing it. They do it in Alaska a lot. It takes about 100 to 110 gallons of birch sap to make 1 gallon.
Oh my goodness.
And it's very expensive. It sells for about 3 times what maple syrup sells for, because number one, it's scarce and it's supposed to be a delicacy. I wouldn't walk across this room for some birch syrup on my pancakes.
I was going to say, what do they eat it on?
It's bitter.
Is it?
Yeah, it's used mostly for cooking, this flavor.
Ah.
There are some people in the Durham area that are making it, and you can make it later in the season, and the sap runs later in the season. So some of the producers are finishing up with maple and going right to birch.
Huh. We used to drive over Route 4 going over to the seacoast, and Colbrown Academy was always one that always had the old-fashioned kettles out there, or pails out there up against the tree there, and I don't know, they still tap it over there? Or no?
I don't think so. The sugar house has moved down the road, and it was functional for a few years, and now it's a gift shop, or somebody's living in part of it. So I don't think it's in use anymore.
Oh my goodness sake.
You know, a lot of changes. I mean, it's a lot of work. You know, I have 3 adult children, and none of them are interested in carrying on the family maple operation.
Oh boy.
I'm fortunate that I have a person that's a lot younger than I am, and he and I have become partners, and he will carry on when I can no longer do it.
Really?
So the established place to go in Concord, and my educational aspect of maple will continue. He's extremely knowledgeable. He grew up in the maple industry in Vermont, and so Robert Saunders will take over Maple Tree Farm when Dean Wilber can't do it anymore.
Wow. But that's the thing with a lot of things, Dean, is that a lot of people have an expertise and nobody wants to do it, but they want to go, they want to buy it, or they want to go to it, but there's nobody that really, the families don't care about it, and it's sad in a way, but it's even like the farms, either the dairy farms or the beef cattle, or the sheep or whatever, or the goats or the chickens. I mean, nobody's really into that.
Yeah, it's work, you know.
Yeah.
I used to have neighborhood kids, boys, helping me out, and I finally had to give up because they just didn't want to work.
No.
They, sit on the tailgate of the truck or sit on the tractor seat, and I do the work. So now I have somebody that's 58 years old, and he's reliable, he shows up, and we work well together.
Good.
But no, the kids today, and it's a different world we live in.
Yep, it's true. Well, we're coming to a close around town, Dean. It's been a pleasure having you come in and talk about this year's maple season, and by all means, it's time for you to think about maple syrup, and take a ride out through East Concord, up there on
Oak Hill Road.
yeah, I was trying to think of the one to get to it, but Oak Hill, Shawmut Street, isn't it?
Yeah, Shawmut Street to Oak Hill.
Up there to Oak Hill, and then out there by Turtletown Pond, a little bit past it, and you'll come to his maple syrup farm. And by all means, see Dean and have a hello. And do you give tours by chance or no?
We do when we can.
Yeah.
We do have Maple Weekend coming up, which is the 24th and 25th, and we'll have a self-guided
March,
tour.
right?
March.
Okay.
We'll have a self-guided tour with directions and a map through the orchard, and that's very popular.
Good.
We have hundreds of people go through that.
Oh, well, good.
So.
Well, thanks for joining us, Dean. Good luck again on a successful season, and we'll hopefully see you through the summer. And I'm your host, Dick Patten. Thanks to Ian Marx, my director, and we'll look forward to seeing you soon. And go out and buy some syrup and enjoy it. So, see you soon and around town.